All right, so in today's video, I'm going to give you basically what your first plan of action should be if you have a sprained shoulder or you've injured your shoulder. Now, there's obviously a lot of different ways you can injure your shoulder, from something that's really catastrophic to something that's kind of mild. This is gonna be more from the mild side of things. So how I kind of always judge whether or not someone has a severe shoulder injury, there's a lot of ways to do that, but I always look at the amount of force and the amount of speed, right? So if you're wondering, if you're watching this video and you're thinking, okay, I had an accident where there was a lot of force or speed, where you had to grab something pulled or something dropped and you had to grab it quickly, or somebody yanked on your arm or something like that, force and velocity, then there may be a more severe injury there that you need to get it checked out right away. But if this is something where, like, hey, I did a little workout at the gym and my arm's just a little sore, or maybe you just had a little fall or something, nothing too dramatic, but your shoulder is a little sore, then this is what this video is for, okay? So the first thing when dealing with a shoulder injury that makes it different than from like the knee is there usually isn't a ton of swelling, okay? In fact, if you do have a lot of swelling, that is something that is definitely more significant that you should get it checked out right away. But typically with a shoulder sprain or strain, there's not typically a lot of swelling. So if you are having some pain from a strain, the first step I always tell people is to do just a little bit of some ice. And that's just for your comfort, right? You don't have to do it. It's not bringing the swelling down because there's really not a lot of swelling. It's just sort of like, you know, if ice would feel better on that, you know, and you think it would make it feel better, then go ahead. It's not gonna hurt it. And also the counter to that would be like if it's sort of a stiffness and you want to let some hot water on it too, like in the shower. That's fine too, right? The initial stage of just making it feel better is important, okay? After that, I would just, you know, and it's pretty common sense, but I just say it is like try to rest it a little bit, okay? And what I mean by that is don't do weird reaches with your shoulder, okay? So be careful with things like reaching in the back seat of the car for something. Be careful with like putting on a coat, maybe get someone to help you do that. Don't try to test the range of motion, meaning like a lot of times people will be like, oh, it just hurts in this one weird way where they kind of yank their arm up to the side, okay? So just as far as resting it is just be careful with trying to push the range of motion, and that causes a lot of pain, right? Give it a little bit of rest. One way I tell people to rest or how to rest it is when they're sleeping, because this is a common thing that comes up is people will say, you know, my arm hurts when I'm sleeping after I've strained it. So what you would do is, so let's say it's my left arm, is if you're lying down in your bed like this and you're able to lie on your right side, creating a little shelf for the pillow, not for the pillow, for your arm with a pillow, and to rest your arm on is a way that you can rest it and just gives it some support. That'll often help people make it feel better when their shoulders strain. Sometimes I'll even tell them to take a pillow and give it a hug like this. And what that also does is kind of create a frame with your arms that just helps you to stabilize the shoulder a little bit. And that often will also help people with a sore shoulder. So if your shoulder's bothering you with sleeping, try those techniques. So the next thing that I like to have people do after a shoulder strain is you do need to start very gently making sure that the arm can move, okay? And so typically the range of motion that we're looking to get is to make sure that your arm doesn't get stuck from going overhead, right? You want to establish this movement here of going up and down. This is the plane that the arm goes in, just right here like this. So that's more important than reaching behind the back or reaching behind your head. We'll get to those range of motions eventually. Those are important, but this is the one that you want to hit right away. So if your arm is sore, you don't want it to get stiff, what I typically have people do is use a golf club. We just have this little PVC pipe here. And you're gonna lie on your back, and then you're just gonna take the arm like this, and it's sort of like your good hand and arm is supporting the one that's a little sore. And then I just want you to just gradually go overhead like this. Now, you might not go all the way at first. It might go just there, and then it kind of sore, and it comes back. But just slowly but surely work your arms back like this using a golf club and try to go to full range of motion. This can hurt a little bit, but shouldn't hurt too much. But the idea of this is just an easy way to make sure that you keep this range of motion, which is flexion of the shoulder. You want to make sure that you keep that. And this is just a good early way to get a little bit of movement and blood flow into a sprained shoulder. So if that's okay to do that, then the next thing I want you to do is to start getting a little bit of some gentle muscle contractions. So let me show you this one. I'll try to position this so you guys can see. So for my right arm, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna have you lie down on your left side if your right arm is the one that's strained, and make sure my head's supported here, okay? Just rest your arm here on your side like this. And then what I want you to do is take your shoulder blade and just squeeze your shoulder blade back a little bit. What you're doing there is providing a little bit of a base of support. And then you're just gently gonna move your arm up and down like this. Bring your hand all the way down to your stomach and then bring it back up. Keeping your elbow at 90 degrees. And you're not using any weight. Again, this is just a really gentle way of getting a little bit of muscle activation in your rotator cuff, specifically the external rotators. Now, a lot of times people will say it hurts at the very end range up here at the top. If that's happening to you, just stop shy of that pain for now. Just, early on, it's just okay just to come to just to here, not push it all the way. Don't be pushing hard into pain, okay? Just go into the available range of motion. And this is just an easy way. This is external rotation. You're gonna do about 20 reps of those, okay? All right, the next one that I like to have people do is to get a little bit of their back activated. The back is the muscles that help to support the shoulder joint so that it can move. It provides a base of support. So how I like to have people do that is just with some shoulder blade squeezes. The key is to differentiate your shoulder blade from your ball and socket joint here. So if I'm holding my hands like this and I'm going out to the side, right? You can see me from the front and then you can see me from the back. That's just my ball and socket joint moving, meaning like the arm is rotating on the socket. But what I want you to do is to have your hands in this position. You're gonna move them, but I want you to do it just by squeezing the shoulder blades. So it looks like this from the front, meaning my hands are going apart, but I'm doing it from the back. Just like that. Again, it should be nice and gentle, just squeezes of the shoulder blade. And I would do about 20 of those. We call this the W exercise because it makes a W with your hands. And just to get your back muscles going. Then the last one I would do is, it's similar to it's the same motion we were doing with the pipe, but just do an arm raise like this. So you need to be with your thumbs up. You don't want to have your arms out to the side. We're not making a circle, but you don't want to be straight in front either. This is the plane that you want to be in. It's kind of 45 degrees from your body, and you're just going to go up as high as you can without pain. Sort of stop shy of the pain. Don't try to, like, if it's my right shoulder, I'm not going to try to force it back there. Just in the plane that is with the least amount of pain, right? Just keep it in that plane. When you get to the top, you can do a little shrug if you want, and then bring it back down. It should be just the same speed up, same speed back down in this 45 degrees. But this is where I would say you should start. If you've strained your shoulder, you don't think it's something dramatic, there's not, bones crunching in there too much or anything, you don't think there was any impact or force or velocity where you've seriously injured it, it's just a little sore, and sort of the point where you can't use it normally, this is where I would want you to start, is to go through this. And I would just do this Go through this maybe once a day for about a week, and it should be feeling a lot better. And if it doesn't, then of course you would need to go get some more help. And then obviously, once it starts feeling better, there's a lot more other strengthening that can go on to continue to get the shoulder back to where it was before you had an injury. So if you have a sprained shoulder, give this stuff a try. If you have any questions, please let us know. Thanks.